News as it happens, across Australia, around the world, with the team that really knows news. Weekdays, 6:30 on the 7 National News.
Seven National News with Greg Granger.
It is now my intention to lead the Liberal Party, with Alan's support, into the next election.
That's how Jeff Kennett announced his win today, forcing Alan Hunt into the political wilderness. And the other big news story tonight, High Court Judge Lionel Murphy dies at the age of 64 from cancer. Good evening. Tonight, Jeff Kennett is still leader of the state opposition. He beat off a bid to depose him at today's
Fleet reenactment voyages weigh anchor in Botany Bay.
And a close call for a fighter jet pilot at Amberley Air Base.
7 Nightly News with Frank Warwick and Simone Simmons.
Good evening.
And good evening to you too, Simone. Welcome to the...
More victims found at the scene of the New Caledonia hostage rescue.
And loyal patients come to the aid of Jeffrey Edelston.
Seven Nightly News with Richard Zachariah and Susie Ellerman.
Good evening. The Medical Tribunal has reserved for a month its decision on the future of flamboyant medico Dr. Jeff.
7 Nightly News with Glenn Taylor and Jennifer Kites.
Tragedy strikes a family already grieving for a road smash victim.
And Melbourne in the grip of grand final fever.
Good evening. An epidemic of a rare form of meningitis in Victoria.
Also tonight, a state government rescue plan for St Andrew's Hospital fails.
The promise of a new tax deal as Andrew Peacock goes for the family vote. And a life and death drama for a youngster trapped beneath the ice.
7 Nightly News with Roger Clemson.
Good evening. Australian family...
This is 7 Nightly News with Peter Mitchell.
And outsider Fra triumphs in the Caulfield Cup.
With Gary Wilkinson and Kim Watkins, this is 7 Nightly News.
Tonight, Greens outraged at police inaction at the Port Hinchinbrook development site. Schoolies Week chaos on the Gold Coast.
And an unknown Scotsman wins the Australian PGA.
Seven Nightly News with Anne Fulwood.
Tight security and strong emotions as Martin Bryant pleads not guilty. Drama as wild weather hits 3 states, leaving a trail of destruction. And a Washington summit in search of a solution to Arab-Israeli violence. Good evening. The man charged with the murder of 35 people at Port Arthur today pleaded not guilty on all counts. Martin Bryant appeared in the Supreme Court in Hobart, coming face to face with survivors and relatives of those killed in the massacre.
With Ross Simons and Ann Sanders, this is 7 Nightly News.
frightening cache of weapons seized by police in just 1 week on our city streets.
Australian swimmer Richard Upton fined for taking a banned drug.
And CDs trashed as a price cut is recommended.
Good evening.
Tonight, paying for peace, a new tax to fund our Timor troops. Gunmen end their hostage crisis in the Armenian parliament. And taking a spin with Australia's top 10 cars.
With Chris Bath, this is 7 Nightly News.
Good evening. We may be hit with a new... Sydney enters the new millennium with a stunning fireworks spectacular. Crowds pack the harbour city, enjoying a safe New Year's Eve. And celebrations around the world to welcome the year 2000.
With Chris Bath, this is 7 Nightly News.
Good evening, and from 7 News, welcome to the 21st century.
Live from the studios of 7 Melbourne, Peter Mitchell with 7 News.
Tonight, Kevin Rudd makes $500 million of promises on day one of the election campaign. Tony Abbott embraces the Muslim community after recommitting the coalition to cutting the carbon tax. Suspected people smugglers arrested over asylum seeker deaths at sea. And little Dion killed by a family pet.
This is 7 News at 7 with Mark Ferguson.